Greetings and salutations. I am Crom the Pal, and this is Guild Wars 2 First Level 80 Character Build Guide. Now that you either have a character at level 80 or are getting close, it's time to start thinking about your build. Chances are you already have an idea or two based on what weapons and utility skills you've been using up until this point, or what part of the game you wish to jump into next. There are a large number of websites that can give you a meta build. That is a build that other players have used and tested that have picked as the best or most efficient build for that particular class doing that particular task, such as a specific dungeon, fractals, or even PvP. Most of them don't tell you how to get the gear. Most of them don't tell you how to specifically use the build. And these builds are set up to be used in a specific pattern. Use this skill after this skill when this happens. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a basic guide on how to create your own build using all the skills that are available to a newly minted level 80 character. I'm going to use my Ranger for this. Now, every build has a basic 3-part breakdown. You've got your 10 skills in your skill bar, you've got your armor, weapon, and trinkets that provides the stats for your character, and then you've got your traits and specializations, which is where the real build comes into form. Okay, so here I have my Ranger. Now I've decided with my Ranger, because I can swap weapons, I'm going with a short bow, an axe, and a torch. And the reason why I picked that particular weapon combination is because I'm pursuing a condition damage build, and these are the weapon sets that give me the biggest bang for my buck when it comes to condition damage. Okay, so on my short bow, I'm going to be bleeding with every attack. I can use some poison with attacks. I can also do some bleeding, and I can add cripple and immobilization to that. With my axe, I'm going to be bleeding with one attack, bleeding chilling with another attack, and then of course torch, I get a lot of burning out of it. Now, my utility skills are just as important as the weapon skills, in some cases more so. However, when it comes to utility skills, because you can change them very easily anytime you're not in combat, they're a little easier to play with. So when it comes to healing, you have a lot of options. Now, whenever you're looking at a skill, there are 3 things you want to look at. You want to look at, does it have a passive effect? Does it do anything the instant it's equipped? Does it have an after effect? Does it give you a bonus, a benefit when you use it other than its specific purpose? And I should say, does it have, or what are its stats? How much does a healing skill heal for? What's the length of casting time, and how long for it to recharge? And is there an extra benefit? So when we look at the healing skills, you got the water spirit. It summons a spirit. That means that spirit has to survive in order for you to get the healing. I personally don't like that. Now, healing spring's pretty good. Its primary benefit is it creates a well. It gives you a healing, it gives you regeneration, and that water field, that can be blasted for a bigger heal. And that's part of what we call a combo in Guild Wars 2. Now, combos are made as a result of combining a field with a finisher. For fields, there's fire, water, lightning, ice, dark, smoke, ethereal, poison, and light. For finishers, you've got whirling, leap, blast, finisher, and projectile. I'm not going to go into complete all of the combinations right now. If you want to find out how, you can go to the wiki and look up field, and it will give you a nice chart showing you all the different fields and all the different finishers that combine and what the results are. I'll give you a real quick rundown of why these are good things in Guild Wars 2. A fire field, when blasted with a blast finisher, generates might for everybody, all allies in the area. A water field, when blasted with a blast finisher, generates healing. And finishers can be used multiple times on the same field. So if I put a water field down, it may only last 2 seconds, but 3 different people could activate a blast finisher on that water field, generating 3 AoE heals. So fields are very, very important in this game. More so in the competitive PvP World v World, but they're still very useful in dungeons, fractals, and every other aspect of the game. So we're going to take a look at that as that particular feature of this healing skill. Now, Lateral Lunge, it gives me a health over time. It sounds pretty good. The idea being, once I activate it for 10 seconds, I'm going to gain a substantial chunk of health every second. Now, we heal as one. Not only does it give me a large healing right off the bat, but it's also going to copy any conditions that, or boons, I should say, not conditions, boons between my pet and myself. And that can be very beneficial because pets often generate passive boons. Plus, if there's allies fighting melee with the opponent, they're going to possibly generate boons onto my pet because he's next to them. That will allow me to transfer those boons. And then, of course, Prayer to Duena, that's one of the most unused, and there's a good reason for it. It has a very, very long recharge, and the healing benefit is almost identical to most of the other skills, so it's really not very popular. So I'm going to stick with We Heal as one. For my other utility skills, I've gone with Sharpening Stone. Again, I'm a condition build ranger. I'm going to want that bleeding. I've gone with Spike Trap, more bleeding, plus this launches foes, meaning I can set it at my feet, keep my distance with my short bow and my ranged axe, and then anybody that gets close to me is going to get knocked down and suffer damage. I'm also going to go with the stone, Signet of Stone. This makes my toughness and my pet's toughness much higher. That gives me a good defensive ability right there. However, when I activate it, so that's the passive, when I activate it, I'm going to take no damage from direct attacks. I still will take condition damage, and I can still be immobilized, but it'll give me 6 seconds of invulnerability to direct damage, and that's extremely beneficial if I need to get away from something. And then, of course, Entangle is my elite skill. And the idea with this, of course, is it's going to immobilize up to 5 people within a radius, 600 of me, and it causes a substantial amount of bleeding on them. So that's my basic skill bar. That's my build. I'm also, with a ranger, looking at my pets because they are a part of your build. So I've gone with 2 pets that deal condition damage. My Drake here deals burning.
I chose you.
And my Whiptail Devourer deals poison. And that's a very, very nice combination. A very substantial amount of damage when you combine the poison from my short bow with the poison from my pet. Now, the second thing you need to look at is your traits. For your traits, you're going to open your hero panel, and you're going to go into build. Now, you should have already trained all of your traits. Once you get to level 80, you have enough skill points to train every single thing here, except for your elite. Now, the elite is something that's only unlocked with Heart of Thorns. If you don't have the Heart of Thorns expansion, you won't have that unlocked yet. Once you do get Heart of Thorns, you can unlock the elite specializations. I'm not going to deal with the elite specialization today. It is just another option when you expand your build, but it's not what I'm going to go into today. So, for my traits, I've decided to go with Wilderness Survival, Skirmishing, and Beast Mastery. The reason behind these 3 combinations is because when I look at all of the possible combinations of Marksman, Skirmishing, Wilderness Survival, Nature Magic, Beast Mastery, and as I said, I'm not going to do it with Druid, this is the combination that gave me the most healing, the most condition damage with enough defensive ability. So the idea with this Wilderness Survival, I get endurance regeneration, which helps me. I'm going to go with Expertise Training, which gives me extra condition damage for my pet. I gain protection when I dodge roll. I'm going to use Refined Toxins, so as long as I'm above a certain health threshold, I'm going to start dealing a lot of poison, and the pet is also going to deal poison. So that's doubling up my poison attacks. We're also going to take less damage when we're above that threshold. And after swapping pets, that pet's going to inflict poison. So if I swap from my Devourer to my Drake is going to cause both burning and poison. That's a very powerful combination there. Of course, in Skirmishing, I'm going to select Sharpening Edges. That gives me even more bleeding. I'm going to go with Hidden Barbs, so my bleeds last longer and are more damaging. And Light on my Fleet, damage condition duration is increased after I dodge. So if I dodge roll, my damage suddenly is going to increase. Companions, my critical hits grant might to my pet. My pet's strikes from your pet's basic attack cause bleeding. So now my pets are causing bleeding no matter what they do. Every attack, they're stacking bleeding. Now my pet gains natural regeneration and improved healing. This is a controversial one for me. It's good because it keeps my pet in there longer, but it doesn't have a direct benefit to me, so I might swap it out for something else, like my pet's inflicts weakness on their targets when executing the F2 command. So that is an option, but I'm going to leave it for now just to see how my pets stand up and if they are benefiting from this. Remember, builds are not set in stone. You can change them as many times as you want. So if you find something isn't being useful to you, for example, if I find I'm not actually using the spike trap or I'm not taking substantial damage, I might forego these utility skills for something else more useful. And the final trait, of course, I have is Beastly Warden, which causes a taunt. And the taunt is very useful in Guild Wars. It's very rarely used, but it is a neat skill that basically forces the opponent to attack a specific target and can do nothing else. So once I have my traits together and I've got my skill bar, I need to come up with armor, weapons, and utilities, or trinkets. So if I go to my equipment here, I've decided because I want to do a lot of condition damage, I'm going with what's called a carrion set. So that's power, vitality, and condition damage. Now, to get a full set of exotic armor, it's not an easy thing to do, and yet it is. Here's what I mean. If you want to craft it, you're going to have to level up the particular crafting discipline of your class. So if you want to craft medium armor for a ranger, you're going to have to level leatherworking all the way to 400 to craft an exotic set of armor. Or you're going to have to go into the trading post and purchase it. Now in the trading post, an exotic set, say chest piece, and I'm going to look for my specific stats. So I want power, I want vitality, and I want condition damage. And of course I want it to be exotic. So you can see here, level 80 carrying there, that's 6 gold for this one. Now this one, power, vitality, condition is 71 silver. So it can vary greatly. You got to make certain you make good use of your search feature here to actually find what you want, because you can wind up spending that 6 gold on something which is definitely not worth it when you can get the exact same stats for a very, very, substantially decreased value. But if you don't have the 6 gold it's going to take to buy 6 pieces of this, another easy thing to do is your dungeon runs. Now, when you've been leveling up, you've probably done a lot of dungeons, and you should do these dungeons if you haven't. They're a lot of fun, and the explorable mode rewards what's called tokens. Now, if you go to your wallet down here, this is a list of a whole bunch of currencies in-game that you get from various different things. So karma is something you build up by doing events, by completing hearts and various, other achievements throughout. Spirit shards are awarded after you surpass a level 80. Every time you gain a full level of experience, you gain a spirit shard. Laurels are a login reward. Transmutation charges are used to change your wardrobe's appearance. Badges of honor from World versus World, and you've got fractals, guild commendations, bandit crests, airship parts, and then a whole bunch of dungeon tokens. So down here you can see the flame char carvings. I've got 3,000 of these. Now these are from a specific dungeon, and that dungeon is Citadel of the Flame. And Citadel of the Flame has a unique stat combination. It provides power, precision, ferocity, plus it will also provide power, vitality, condition damage, and finally power, precision, condition damage. Now I decided I would go with the power, vitality, condition damage set. I had enough tokens that I could get the entire set of armor here, and so I got it basically for nothing. All it cost me is the time it took to run that dungeon. Now if you didn't run the dungeon, if you were unable to, or if you simply didn't find the dungeon to be competitive enough for you, you can also do PvP reward tracks. Now by completing PvP reward tracks, you can actually get the same reward in another form. So if you see right here, I've got Balefire Weapon Box, and if I open this, you'll see that it gives me access to all the same weapons in the dungeon, you can get armor boxes and weapon boxes, which means that by doing PvP, I can get an entire set of exotic armor and weapons, again, without spending anything. And the time it takes is going to be very much less than it would take to, say, level crafting from zero if you had to gather everything or farm all the gold required. The other option, of course, would be to jump into World versus World. Now, if you go into World versus World, there's actually a place where you can change badges of honor in for armor. Badges of honor are earned through your dailies in World versus World, so that means you have to have a certain number of kills or capture a tower or capture a certain number of camps. Once you manage to achieve these, you can go to a vendor in World versus World, and I'm going to show you where it is. It's very easy to get through. It's in your home instance in World versus World. So for mine, it's Tarnished Coast. So Tarnished Coast, Desert Borderland. And you're going to talk to this gentleman right here. And as you can see, he has a number of different attributes. So there's Carrion. So I could pick up the entire Carrion set here, level 80 gear. And it would cost me a little bit of gold. It would cost close to 6 gold. So you really wouldn't be saving anything on this particular stat set. The savings come more when you go with something with Berserker stats, because they are definitely more expensive on the trading post than they are here. Now, if you want, you can also acquire Power, Toughness, Vitality trinkets here. I don't recommend them, but again, in lieu of anything else, this could be a good place to acquire these. Now, the last way you're going to get armor is you're going to go to temples and use karma. Now, the temples of ore, there are 5 different temples, and each temple has a different stat combination available for your armor. You're also going to want to get a back item down there. Now, the back items are key because you can't craft a level 80 back item. You can only craft a level 78 back item. That means you can't put a level 80 upgrade in it, which means it's going to be somewhat lower stats than anything else. So I haven't got any of the temples unlocked on this character, so I don't think I'm going to have I don't think I'm going to run to it. But basically, there are multiple temples down here, and each temple has a different set of stats available to it that will allow you to customize your character the way you want. Now, once you have your armor and your trinkets and your weapons, you've got your build. You don't have to be stuck with it, though. Take your build out, try it out, see if it's actually going to function the way you want it to. See if the damage maxes out. And one good place to try a level 80 build is South Sun Cove. Now, South Sun Cove is a level 80 map. That means everybody on there is either level 80 or under level. There's no downscaling for it, nor is there any upscaling. All the monsters are level 80 or higher if they're veterans, or there's a large number of people during an event. So it's a very good place to test out builds. So I see there's a down player down here, so I'm going to come down and I'm going to see if I can lend him a hand. So as you can see, I'm getting a lot of bleeding and poison real quick, and he's just vaporizing. So I'm going to put my trap here. I'm going to switch pets and let my pet burn him. So while I'm doing nothing, he's already got bleeding. He's got poison going. I'm just resurrecting this fallen person. I have not had to do anything. I can change pets again. And now my pet's going to attack him and going to deal a substantial amount of bleeding in a second. And again, I have done nothing here. That's all been my pet. I can heal. I'm going to attack these guys.
Time to do some real damage.
So you can see I'm getting a lot of condition damage on these fellas, and they are just dropping really, really quickly. So that's basically your level 80 build guide. It applies to every profession, every class. You can do whatever you want to acquire the armor, weapons, and trinkets. And I guess I didn't show you actually what trinkets I'm using. Is again, I've gone with sinister trinkets, which I actually crafted because I have a character capable of crafting them. But I could have gone with a variety of different things. If I'd gone with the Black Line Trading Post, I could have gone for accessories here. And again, I could have decided, okay, I want condition damage, and they have to be exotic. And then they only have to be level 8. So here's my options. I can sort them by price. So I could have gone with the precision toughness, and it would have cost me 58 silver. To get the power, vitality, condition damage, I would have had to spend 4 gold each. So that's it. I hope it helps you out. This is Crom the Pale signing out, and hope to see you in the game.